Morning lads, it's time for a quick update. I haven't been doing very much this last few weeks, so I thought I'd just bring you in and tell you where I'm at and what I'm doing and all the rest, tell you what I have done, what I've not done, etc. So, it's a cold, dark morning in Oregon. It actually looks quite nice through the camera lens. It's absolutely hammering down outside. It's extremely miserable, but anyway, that's by the by. The car. I've got most of the what's the word I'm looking for? I've got most of the small bits and pieces done on the car. There's a few little patches, a few little nooks and crannies. Some of them I've mentioned previously, like the driver's side floor. There was a few little bits in the bulkhead and a few little bits and pieces around that I fixed. The next challenge, which is really dark, is the passenger side floor. I've got a brace in there. It's pretty good. It still really strong, but for some reason the floor is rotted out. I have the new replacement part there. I'm just going to go ahead and take that whole thing out. What else? I've started, oh, sprayer over here. I've started on the bodywork. The panels aren't bad, you may remember that, they're not too bad. So I've stripped a bunch of paint off the boot lid. The tunnel's a little bit ugly. There was a whole series of holes drilled, There was holes drilled all over that, which are now filled. So I'm going to get that into, get the rust and muck off of that as best I can over the next little while. We've got one front wing. It was a little bit crumpled around the front, so yeah, you can see there's quite a lot of little scrapes and nicks and things. But I've filled it. Filled and sanded it. It's not too bad. There's a pretty serious rumple there. I was pounding on that with a hammer for a good long time. I've definitely taken the worst out of it. The rest of the wing itself is not too bad. A couple of little ugly patches on the top. A couple where I've filled holes, and I guess, I don't know, an old wing mirror or something was there at one point in time. So that's now filled. This section is good. This section here, that's where I had to patch. I put the patch in on the other side of that. That isn't too bad, but it's got a serious dip in it there. It's a serious rumple. Now what I'm thinking about doing is almost keeping that, because it is an older car. It's a 50, 60-year-old car. I'm not too fussed about it becoming a show car or an over-the-top thing. So this is what I'm thinking about getting rid of, is there's little depressions that are almost like little, I don't know what you would call them, just little dings. I'm thinking about getting rid of those and keeping the, especially down here where the wheels are, keeping the character marks, I guess is what I call them. And I don't know if I'm making it up in my head or if it's something I want to do. I really don't want this car to look like it's brand new off the showroom floor. I want it to look like it's 60. I want it to look like it's not a hard life, but lived. I want it to look like it's seen a bit of action in its time. You know what, just filling up. I could probably beat that out with, I could probably panel beat that. It's probably within my range of abilities. But I kind of just want it to be real. I kind of don't want to throw 25 gallons of Bondo in this just for the sake of it. And I know that sounds kind of weird, because just for the sake of it is kind of the whole point in it. But I'm thinking, iron out the little things, iron out the truly ugly things, like this little thing I found on the boot lid. It's just a truly ugly, crumpled little rumple. It doesn't say. I've been thrown around corners my entire life. I've slid into walls and been just thrashed hard and enjoyed myself. It says, yeah, something fell off a shelf in storage and put a dent in me. But this little rumple to me says, yeah, I came around the corner too fast and threw up some raccoon and it knocked the hell out of my front fender. So I'm thinking I'm going to keep that. So I don't know, opinions on that would be greatly appreciated. But as I say, it's progressing nicely. Got it cleaned off, it's still flat, there's no raised bits or anything on any of the panels on the hinges, so it's genuine old stuff. I picked up some primer the other day. I'm going to epoxy the bare metal. here. Got some cups and some sticks and what have you. So I've got some epoxy primer in there, and the epoxy's the little tins. 1-2 coats probably be enough. And I've got some high build stuff. I don't know if I've got enough or not, but you know, I can easily enough get more. So I'm probably going to try and get these panels that are cleaned off in primer some point in January, I think. These guys I intend to, whoa, it really is dark over there, I must be missing some lights. These guys I intend to get stripped off over the next couple of weeks over the holidays. Have hopefully 4 wings, a bonnet, a boot lid and that front apron and bare metal for January time. Then I'm thinking we'll get them epoxied, maybe some high build on them, and put them away really until I've got this done. And I think I'll spray base clear all in one go. Maybe, that might be the plan. I'm not too sure yet, but I think that's the plan. So for today, I am going to attack, it really isn't very clear, there's definitely some light missing somewhere. I'm going to attack that passenger side floor and hopefully get that out. Certainly the bulk of it out today, so I can get that cleaned up, and I'm going to sort of do that through the day, and if I get a spare hour or two I'll continue on the bodywork, because I sort of like the bodywork, whereas grinding away and possibly demolishing things doesn't always seem fun to me. So plan is replace the floor over the next few days, week, get these guys into bare metal and bonded where appropriate. Likewise, these are bare metal, but get them bonded where appropriate, beat panels as required, and then hopefully come early next year, this being the 20th I think of December, come early next year, like January 3rd, 4th, 5th time, get some epoxy on these guys and maybe start on the high build. Anyway, I'll get this going, and I'll bring you back and get some progress on this work as we go. Okay, so the deed is done. There's the old floor. Here is the formerly the passenger side. You can see the chassis poking back through, a nice black, looking good. You can see there's still raggy bits up the front there in the footwell. I've cut the spot welds along the side of the door, top of the sill, whatever. And there's still a few little bits around the back I need to tidy up. But yeah, on the whole, okay, an hour or two, I don't know, something like that. So it's not too bad. You can see there, maybe, the sill looks remarkably good. So I'm really pleased about that, because that was my big worry, is the whole thing was just going to collapse in a heap. So yep, just going to keep hacking away, and I'll bring you back at some point in time. Okay, so I've been working on the floor, which I think I showed you, which I did show you, it was about an hour or two ago. The old one's out, obviously. You can just about make out the new one is very definitely not in place, but it fits in okay. There's no fettling done. I've literally cut the old one out and dropped the new one in place. I guess the normal procedure is to do this with the body off, the body over, all that kind of good stuff, but you know, I'm not doing it that way. No more statement to be made than that. I think it's going to go in okay. Yeah, I just think it's going to be okay. I'm having some difficulty with plug welding. For some reason, I'm not getting enough, what's the word? I'm not getting the metal to join hard enough for my liking. I'm getting it to join, but I can break it apart again. I've tested this quite a lot over the last, I don't know, few days, week, something like that. So I'm going to seam weld it in at the bulkhead and seam weld it in at the front and rear bulkhead, but I'm going to huff the plug weld along the sill, obviously, because there's no seam to weld. So I'm going to give it a shot. I'll probably punch 1/4 inch holes and see if that works. I've been practicing on slightly smaller holes, so I'm thinking that's probably the problem. I've got some sheet metal over on the workbench that I'll be digging away at. But anyway, there is the floor sitting in position, and I shall bring you back when we have some more action. Okay, so things are marching on. I'm pretty much, I've got that flange bit in there cleaned, patched, welded, ready to go. So I think all that remains to be done is get this new floor bashed into position, placed neatly in position, and wiggled around to make sure it'll all bolt together. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get it in and then line up all the holes on these chassis outriggers, the holes that are on the chassis with the floor, to make sure that it all fits. Here's the floor. I've drilled a whole series of little holes that I'm going to plug with. That will become bigger holes, obviously, to plug weld. I've been practicing my plug welding skills, and I think I finally got it cracked. I think I've got the hole size right. It's not too big. I'm not blowing through the back. And I've tried to demolish this piece with a chisel, and I can't break it apart. So that's good. So I think I'm almost ready to take said floor and plug weld it in. I think I'm going to jump off and get this thing posted, because I actually have to get away out of here for the week with business, which is unfortunate because I'm just making progress. But needs must. Got to pay for all this shenanigans somehow. So I'm going to drill these holes, try and get the thing in position, and then hopefully next weekend I'll be back. That'll be the first weekend in January. Be back and good to go. Get this thing welded in, and then happy days. Happy days.